The first item on the list is of course the cage. There are multiple types of cages: DIY cages, glass tanks, bin cages, and of course the barred cages that you usually see in pet shops. The only type from this list I wouldn't recommend are barred cages. There are multiple reasons for this. The first one is that they are usually too small, so you can't put enough bedding and proper sized wheel. Another reason is that hamsters tend to chew the bars, which can permanently damage their teeth, and they also can climb the bars and injure themselves when they fall. These types of cages are also usually very expensive relative to their size. A cheaper option would be a bin cage or a DIY cage. For a bin cage, you just need to buy a big plastic bin, cut the lid, and put some mesh wire on the lid. Many people decide to make DIY cages out of old furniture, wood, or out of IKEA furniture. They are a good option because you get a bigger cage for less money. They look pretty and can be designed to fit into your space. The last and my favorite are glass tanks. They look amazing and are the safest option for your hamster. While a new tank can be a bit pricey, it is relatively easy to find a used one for a much lower price. If you buy a used tank, make sure to clean it thoroughly. When it comes to the cage size, the minimum size recommended in the US is 450 square inches. Anything below that would be considered animal cruelty. This is because even though hamsters are small, they are very active and energetic animals. In nature, they travel up to 5 or 6 miles per night. Staying in a small space the whole day is not natural for them. This is why in Europe the minimum recommended size is 775 square inches. Keep in mind that these are not recommended sizes. These are the minimum recommended sizes to prevent animal cruelty. The next thing you will need is bedding. Bedding is very important for a hamster because it substitutes the natural soil that hamsters burrow in nature. Hamsters dig and make their homes or nests underground. There are some safe and unsafe hamster beddings. Pine, cedar, and scented bedding are very commonly found in pet shops, but they are unfortunately unsafe. Pine and cedar contain chemicals that evaporate into the air and damage the hamster's lungs. Scented bedding is unsuitable because it has a strong artificial smell and can cause lung issues. They can also cause allergies. Hamsters have a good sense of smell and they use it to move around because their eyesight is very bad. The scent from the scented bedding would interfere with that. Some safe types of hamster bedding are paper-based bedding, hemp, birch, spruce, and aspen. Soft hay is usually used between layers of bedding to make it easier for the hamster to burrow. For proper burrowing, I would recommend at least 8 inches of bedding. There are some other types that are not unsafe, but I would not recommend to use them for the whole cage, like corncob and pellet bedding. Besides regular bedding, your hamster will need some nesting material. The best option for this is toilet paper or unscented paper napkins. Do not use cotton or fabric because they cannot be digested in case your hamster eats them. Another item that is absolutely necessary is a wheel. Every hamster must have a wheel because, as I said, they are very active animals, and the 5 or 6 miles that they run in nature, they will have to run on the wheel. Safe hamster wheels have a solid running surface. This means there are no holes or protrusions of any kind. Safe wheels are usually made of wood or plastic. Unsafe wheels are wire and mesh wheels, because your hamster's leg can get stuck and break. This is a very common way for a hamster to break their leg. Another unsafe type of hamster wheel is the flying saucer wheel. It hurts their back and the hamster can fly off easily. The size of the wheel is important as well to prevent spinal injury. When your hamster runs, their spine needs to be straight. If they run on a wheel that is too small for a prolonged period of time, it will cause permanent damage. This is painful for your hamster, especially as they get older. The recommended wheel size for Syrian and Chinese hamsters is no less than 10 inches. For robos and dwarfs, it should be no less than 8 inches. If the wheel is bigger than the recommended size, that is perfectly fine. The fourth item your hamster needs is sand. By rolling and digging in sand, they can remove extra oils and dirt from their fur. Hamsters should never ever be given a bath in water. Safe sands are reptile sand and children's play sand. Unsafe sands are beach sand, chinchilla dust, sand with calcium or dyes, cat litter, and bird sand. Next, your hamster will need some stones in their cage. They help to keep their nails from overgrowing. The stones must have a rough surface, they should not be smooth. You can place them in areas your hamster uses a lot, for example around the hamster wheel. Hamsters are prey animals, so they love to get into tight and dark spaces to feel safe. You should always have multiple hideouts, and I recommend at least one multi-chamber hideout that they can use as their nest. Next, you need to give your hamster toys. Chew toys are made of wood and are used to prevent your hamster's teeth from overgrowing. Their front teeth never stop growing. To reduce boredom and stress and to stimulate natural hamster behavior in the wild, boredom breakers and forage toys should be provided. They are a fun way for your hamster to get food and will help with your hamster's mental health. Last but not least, you will need food. Hamster nutrition is such a complex topic to cover, and it's not a one-fits-all kind of thing. I will share with you some basic guidelines, but I encourage you to research and learn more about it. The main things you need to check when buying food are protein, fat, and fiber content. 17 to 19% protein is recommended for most adult hamsters, 20 to 24 for growing animals under 6 months. When it comes to fat, they need 4 to 7% fat in their diet. Fiber needs to be between 6 and 15%. Personally, I recommend at least 10 because fiber is very important for good digestion. Your hamster also needs to have variety in their food, so I wouldn't recommend feeding them only pellets. A seed mix with a wide variety of ingredients is a much better option. The problem with these guidelines is that you will have a hard time finding commercial food that matches all of these criteria. This means you might need to mix different types of food, make your own mixes, or buy mixes from someone else. Again, it is very important to research for yourself and decide what the best nutrition for your hamster is. Oh, and one more thing. I think this is obvious, but please put water in your hamster's cage. You can use a water bottle, you can use a bowl, but please have water in your hamster's cage at all times. I'm only saying this because I heard some people say that hamsters don't need water, which is crazy. But please put water in your hamster's cage. That's all for this video. Keep in mind that all of the things I've mentioned are only the bare minimum. If you enjoyed today's video, please like and subscribe.